this area. As the real estate markets and the economy in general are in flux, we want you to have the best information possible. Thank you for listening to Wired Wednesday. Call McKinnon today to discuss protecting the assets of your.
Good morning, it's McKinnon, and welcome to Wired Wednesday. You know, it's a little chilly out there. It looks like such a mischievous morning.
Yes, very cold.
Right? Like, are we -7 still?
No, we're +7.
Oh, we're +7, okay. Yesterday was -7.
Yesterday was -7.
You know, in studio today we have Jenny Simpkins, and I just want to put a, huge plug in for there. If you're not moving through this cold weather very well, let's get you fixed. RescueMe Massage has so many things going on, and we're so excited to have her on the show again. And I am just excited to talk about her expansion and all the different offerings. So Jenny, dive right into it.
So I am very, very close to being able to expand into a much bigger location. Right now I'm only in about 800 square feet with 2 treatment rooms, 1 extra massage therapist. Moving into 2,500 square feet. We're going to have 4 treatment rooms, retail space, yoga space, hopefully, eventually, a sauna, a cold plunge, and a float pod. We'll be starting up a little bit slower, so we'll start with like 1 at a time, maybe. We'll see where that takes us. So super, super excited. Lots of new things coming to the business.
Well, and it's really great because you're creating I want to say it was almost a year ago that we talked about bringing a healing center to Southern Utah. Well, Cedar City specifically.
Yeah, and that's always been my bigger goal. I don't want to be just a place where people come and relax. Like, I want to be a full-blown healing center, like a full spectrum. So when we look at massage therapy, we're not just looking at it as a way to come in and relax. A lot of people use massage therapy as a therapeutic way to prevent injuries, to get out of pain, to de-stress, and we're not just rubbing lotion on the body. So what we do is we are trying to bridge the gap between massage therapy and physical therapy. We really like to combine all of those things. We do a lot of movement therapy. We look at the body and we look at pain like, okay, is this pain coming from an injury? Was there an emotion attached to the injury? We need to be able to release all of those things. We look at ligaments, we look at tendons, we look at fascia. It's not just muscular tissue that we're working with. We are literally working with everything.
So you're saying the entire body is an organism that all moves together?
Of course.
It's all connected?
It's all connected.
No, it's fascinating. Every time that I either have a treatment or I go through some different modalities, every time I am constantly reminded everything's connected to everything in the body, right?
Yes,
everything's connected. And what's even more synergistic too is bodies are connected to other bodies synergistically.
Yes.
Right? We're creating synergy in this room, Dr. T and Chris. If you didn't know it and if you're not happy about it, I mean, Wired Wednesday is a huge, big, I try to make it a big, right. But with RescueMe Massage and the different modalities and the different, almost education and training and expansion tips that you've been going through, you are becoming what you need, what the community needs for this.
Yes, yeah. I didn't just graduate massage school and just go start massaging people. I keep up on continued education, and it's a requirement I have for my employees as well. This next weekend, I am going to Denver for a big workshop called Spinal Kinetics. Sorry, it's a hard word to say. But that is going to be huge for my business, and I'm hoping that by the end of this year, I will have a full-blown certification in that type of work. And it is exactly what I'm talking about, bridging the gap between massage therapy and physical therapy. There is so much movement involved. It's corrective exercises, it's retraining the body, it's neuromuscular therapy. You really have to experience it to know exactly what we're talking about. But if you are having an issue with moving, you have frozen shoulder, you have sciatic issues, you have neck issues, we will get you moving again.
Well, and that was, a conversation that I had this morning with my spouse. He wrecked on a snowmobile over the weekend.
Oh no.
He went one way, the helmet went the other way, and the snowmobile went the other way. So he got, not torn in three, but torn in three.
Wow.
And he's still tender this morning, and he asked me who I was having on the radio show, and I said, well, Jenny. He's like, yeah, I need to get into her. And I said, of course. So we'll work that out after the show.
Yes, definitely.
But it's incredible because I know, and from doing the radio shows and from having treatments with you, I mean, personal testimony, I can move again, and after our treatments and after the different therapies, granted, I'm going to say I'm 4 case, I do, super expensive, or not expensive, super extensive cupping, but that's about as entertaining as I get. How entertaining can you get, with let's say it's frozen shoulder, because everybody holds stress in their traps in their shoulders, and everybody's hunched over like their computers or driving. We're always looking at our phones, so we're like collapsing almost as humans. How can we work through some of the corrective postures with those?
So one of the most important things, especially when we're dealing with limited range of motion, may not be true frozen shoulder. It could just be very contracted muscles and ligaments in the joint. And so what we can be doing is making sure that we are constantly opening up our chest, opening up our shoulders, leaning into the doorway to open up that chest. There's a stretch that I'm always telling people not to do, and that's bringing the arm across the chest. That makes everything worse because those muscles are already contracted. We're already living in flexion all the time, sitting in our cars driving, bringing our shoulders forward. Being on our phones, it's causing our shoulders to come forward. Sitting on the computer, we're causing our shoulders to come forward. So we want to constantly be trying to open up our chest, and that helps bring everything to a normal resting length. When another really good stretch to do is first thing when we wake up in the morning. A lot of us are side sleepers, and that causes our shoulders to, again, roll forward. And we feel these big knots in our backs, and we think that the problem is back there, but it's really coming from these contracted muscles up here in the chest. So another great corrective exercise to do is to lay flat on your back first thing in the morning and pinch your shoulder blades together. Hold it there for 5 seconds, relax for 5 seconds. Do that again about 4 or 5 times every morning, and that will kind of help to re-educate the brain to know, okay, we need to stay open all the time instead of hunched over.
Well, and somebody said practicing breath work is also important within that too, because we breathe really short, shallow breaths. But if we practice opening up and puffing our chest out, it also helps bring those shoulders back and puts oxygen into our blood again almost.
Yes, exactly. I'm not very educated on breath work, but I do know the importance of it, and I do have my clients practice a little bit of breath work when we're trying to work through movement, because we're trying to consciously tell ourselves to relax. When I am in the middle of a treatment and I can tell the person is starting to tense up, they may not recognize that they're actually doing that, and that's actually called secondary muscle guarding. I could be trying to rotate their shoulder, and they're resisting me, and they'll tell me, I swear I'm relaxed, and I'm like, no, you're not. We need to be able to breathe through this, and we need to get the brain to connect. But what's actually happening is because there may have been an injury. Sometimes my clients are like, oh, I didn't know that there was an injury there, or, oh yeah, I fell off a ladder 6 weeks ago and I didn't realize I hurt my shoulder that bad.
I slipped on the ice 2 weeks ago.
Yes, exactly. And so the brain's like, oh, last time we moved this way, we got hurt, so we're not going to move that way again. And that's where secondary muscle guarding starts to begin. And so that's the neuromuscular retraining that we're doing, is helping the brain to reconnect back to that joint to tell the brain it's okay, we're not going to get hurt, and we can move again.
And with all of the different things and the offerings that are coming up, what different therapies can we experience or have the pleasure of experiencing through the different therapists that you're wanting to hire and or have hired?
So I'm really hoping to get someone with craniosacral therapy education into my practice. I just did an interview with somebody I'm really hoping to hire soon. He knows gua sha. He really seems to understand gua sha.
I feel like that's a foreign fruit like papaya that I'm not supposed to eat.
So gua sha, that is a scraping technique, and it's really great to help break apart those sticky tissues that's right underneath the surfaces of the skin and connects to our muscular tissue. So when we have an injury, it's called fascia. When we have an injury, that can get dehydrated. And drinking more water isn't going to fix it. We need to increase circulation in the area. And sometimes using gua sha, we go in there and we just kind of gently scrape into the skin. And that helps to break it apart. And then we can get fresh circulation through. And that helps us with movement as well. So I'm hoping to bring in modalities of all kinds into my practice so that everybody can get something that they need.
So if I have general questions or general, I have no idea how to even start treatment things, you're currently located in the 444 South building.
Uh-huh.
You're working on moving out and expanding.
Mm-hmm.
But with the different things, you also, you're currently offering a variety of different treatments as well, like hyperbaric. Let's remind our listeners what hyperbaric does.
So hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a compression chamber of oxygen that you're sitting inside of. And the chamber I have, it is designed for you to be able to sit up in instead of one that you lay down. It's much more spacious inside. I have a recliner inside of it, so when it's at full compression, you can lay back, you can spread out, you can take a nap, read a book. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is really beneficial for so many modalities. If you don't want to get a massage or if massage therapy is not your thing, regular hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a great alternative because it is good to help with pain relief. It is good to help with migraines. It can pretty much eliminate migraines if you're somebody that suffers from constant migraines. If you have autoimmune diseases such as fibromyalgia or MS or, rheumatoid arthritis, it can pretty much minimize those symptoms for you. If you've been injured or you're recovering from surgery, it will cut that recovery time in half for you.
Because you're basically infusing the body with oxygen, which it's deprived for anyways because we don't take deep enough breaths and open up our shoulders. Which, again, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. Everything's connected.
Yes, exactly. And what is actually happening when we're getting in that super high concentrated amount of oxygen, let's say you have an area of inflammation and your regular blood cells cannot carry oxygen to that area because there's some kind of block happening. So the oxygen is actually getting dissolved into the plasma. And your plasma can carry it to those areas of inflammation. That's why we can recover so fast with it.
That's just incredible. The things that we know or pretend to know, don't know stuff, right? It's just entertaining. Every week I learn something different on the radio show, but even more so when we have Jenny on the show because I'm really just baffled I thought I was doing a good job. I'm missing 90% of the boat stuff.
Well, there's always room for improvement, right? We can always do something to improve our health and our physical wellness.
Who knew? It's just fascinating too because somehow Southern Utah right now is still collecting people.
Yeah.
Right? We've become this big gathering place in Southern Utah. Everybody's moving in, regardless of interest rates and all the real estate stuff, right? But people keep moving in, and then healing centers such as the RescueMe Massage Center really is becoming and is coming to fruition for all the different modalities and things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible that all of that is coming in time and when it needs to.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
What other things do listeners need to know, Jenny?
Well, you can easily book online. I have another great therapist that works for me. Her name is Allie. She's in the process of learning everything that we know right now. She's really great with deep tissue. So I personally am booked out until the end of February. So if you want to get in with me, you got to go book now. Allie is starting to fill up pretty fast. So you can book online at www.rescuememassagebw.com. Or you can call. I have a virtual assistant, Kylie. She's fantastic, and she'll get you on the books too.
Jenny, you have been really just a godsend to everything that happens, in Southern Utah, because you bring this positivity and this light into Southern Utah. I know from the treatments that you've pushed me through, and I mean pushed in a good fashion, right? Like I've had some really bad shoulder, because I used to be a dancer. Used to is the key word. Used to, where you have to have very strict posture, and as an adult, I just have failed with that. Or I'm less attentive to it, so to speak. But with the different things that I've gone through, I've increased my movements and been able to get rid of the migraines and get rid of the things because of the treatments you've done for me. And I'm forever grateful and have an enormous amount of gratitude for that, because it helps me be a better mom, right? It helps me be a better business owner. It helps me be a better wife. I'm not cranky.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there is that hangry moment. Everybody gets there, right? Do you get hangry, Dr. T?
Never.
Never. Okay. And the missus doesn't need it all either, right?
No comment.
But it really is a full circle, of healing and offerings. With the retail things that you're bringing into, what are you most excited about bringing to Southern Utah?
So with the retail things, I'm really hoping to be able to bring in more tools to help us with self-care at home. I'm working on getting together resistance bands and training people how to use them correctly for corrective exercises at home. Working on bringing in self-care cupping. That's one modality I'm really excited to be offering is cupping yoga, and teaching people how to do that at home, because combining cupping with movement is amazing. Bringing in some more pain relieving products. I have one product that is really popular. It's called Cryoderm. It's similar to BioFreeze, but it's got a vanishing scent, so it doesn't smell like menthol all day long. And the company claims 4 to 6 hours of pain relief. I've had people tell me they have felt great all day long. And then, of course, obviously some, normal spa products as well. There's a product I sell called Simply Earth Essential Oils. They're not an MLM, and they donate 13% of their profits to help end human trafficking. So in the massage industry, it means a lot to me to be able to offer a product.
Contribute back.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Jenny, and for all of our listeners, we appreciate the information that you bring every show, and we're so excited about your expansion and being able to offer that group room, it sounds like, for yoga and bowls and all of the things going on there. And then the healing bowls, guys, like they're sound bowls, just to clarify. and the 4 different types of treatment rooms with the cold plunge and the sauna, and of course currently the hyperbaric and regular massage. Thank you, Jenny, so much for coming on today. I do appreciate you so much. And one more time for your website and your phone number.
So you can book online at www.rescuememassagebw.com. And my phone number is 435-592-2221.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
After